Today we'll be exploring Vaisakhi, the most well-known and celebrated festival in the Sikh calendar. We all know the common narrative, but in this episode we'll go beyond that with the help of J.S. Gadawal's Master of the White Hawk and have our questions answered by Dr. Kamleep Singh. Together we'll explore the Panj Pyare, Panj Mukte and their significance. So join us today as we take a journey down the rabbit hole of written sources regarding Vaisakhi. Be sure to check out the other extracts or listen to the full podcast episode to find out more. One thing that you mentioned, and then I backtracked you to the goats, is you mentioned the Panj Mukte. Now, something which is of obviously interest is Koshish's account is that once the Panj Pyare are initiated, they then prepare Kandadi for themselves and administer it to 5 more Singhs who offer their heads. And Koshish goes on to argue, or goes to suggest even, that these are given the title of Panj Mukte, and Guru Gobind Singh Ji gives them their names: Deva Ram, Ram Chand, Tahil Das, Ishar Das and Fateh Chand. Yeah, Koshish says in total 40 people took Amrit the day of Vaisakhi. The next day, groups of 5 Singhs would administer Paul to the Sangat that had arrived. So from that account, what I would assume is there is an initial ceremony, those 5 then initiate the next 5, those 2 groups then initiate more until there's 40, and then those groups the following day seem to initiate
everybody,
the whole world essentially, right?
Yeah.
What's kind of, I guess that actually kind of connects to what you were saying earlier about how actually there's a number of events. There's not just one big kind of ceremony and the whole world is initiated in one go. Yeah, that account, historical account, just completely matches up to that. What I'm actually asking then is how, like, what role did the Panj Pyare and the Panj Mukte play apart from obviously being the first and second set of 5 Sikhs to be initiated? And what do other historical accounts say about what's going on at this period?
Very good question. Let's look at, first let's go to Pyare Das number 2. Vaho Vaho Gobind Singh Api Guru Chela Guru Simramanai Kalika Khande Ki Villa. The Guru meditate on Kalika. Now is the time of the Khanda. Vaho Vaho Gobind Singh. He's the Guru and the student. So the Guru, you miss something big in all of this, yeah? Sorry to say, obviously. Guru Gobind Singh took Amrit from the Panj himself.
So this is what I was going to get on to later, which is none of these accounts seem to state that though.
Well, he did.
Okay.
Yeah, well, he did.
I'm not saying he didn't before someone like tries to string me up by my bootstraps. But what I mean is that just going off what the text was saying, and again, I'm not challenging the narrative. It just seems that so far, most of them don't suggest that.
And so this is the thing, is like, let's look at Guru Granth Sahib. Does it tell you how to do the part? It can't. Just tell you how to make Gra Prasad. It doesn't. Sometimes we know what happened.
Yeah.
Because it's obvious. Doesn't mean it has to be written down.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But the thing is, Guru Gobind Singh, he went from Guru Gobind Rai to Guru Gobind Singh.
Yeah.
And we all know in our Punjabi law and our tales that that's what happened on that day.
Yeah.
Even if historians don't give it, right? And so the thing is, that's the danger of taking these things literal.
Yeah, because you can end up throwing the baby out with the bathwater and everything. Yeah.
Remember, the Pyare Das too, he's telling you that.
Yeah.
Api Guru Chilla, yeah? So the Guru gets initiation from the Panj. A Fanla was tied on Guru Gobind Singh by Panj Singhs, who he gave it to first. And then they tied it on Guru Gobind Singh, which is according to Koshish's Olahid. Right? So, Sarup Singh. Now look, the Panj Pyare, they represent the archetypal attributes of Guru Gobind Singh. They are dharam, the kind of virtues of the Guru, yeah? They represent his form, yeah? Now the next 5, and then remember the Guru expounds the Red.
Mm-hmm.
So symbolically, the next 5 represent those who've completed the Red completely. Okay. And that's why the mysticism is they merged into light, yeah? Yeah, they disappeared.
Yeah.
And that's, again...
Which is a separate thing altogether, I guess.
Yeah. Because they are so much in the red that their body, their kundalini, their energy goes so high up into the akash that they actually are no longer physical beings anymore. Yeah. And that's why the Nahangs, they believe whenever the Panth is in problems, the Panj Mukte, Charlie Mukte and Shaheed Singhs come back to help. Baba Mit Singh, 5 Shaheed Singhs tied a fatla on him and gave him Amrit when he was a child. And then he brought back all the manuscripts, all the Dasera Puja, Shastra Puja is nearly finished on most of the Tats, even in Buddhalal. Baba Mit Singh brought all that back and all the grants and everything else. And so there's a Nahang law about that. And so this is the mysticism now about the Nahangs. And so that's, the Panj and Mukte represent that completion of Red and that kind of complete power that a real Khalsa has in all dimensions.
Yep.
The Khalsa is a multi-dimensional being rather than a Mayadari being stuck here, just on a military mission, It is a lot more spiritual and mystical than that. So I'd say that's what the second group represent.
Okay.
And then I'd say that in my view, the overall narrative of this shows it happened stepwise.
Yeah.
And it must have, right? It must have. And you can't give Amrit to that, 80,000 people in a few hours. It's going to be a process.
Yeah, of course.
And so what we're saying here is that from between 1696 to 1700, around this period, there are Vaisakis, there are ceremonies, which leads to what we know as the Amrit Sanchar.
Yeah.
And that's what all the confusion is about. That's what the goat slaughter is about.